Right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Home Nations first round draw and fixtures. And of course, we're joined by TO extraordinaire, Jock. Hello, mate. How are we doing?
Very well, sir. Thanks for having me on again. You're my favourite Terry Wogan-esque Blood Bowl commentator, without shadow of a doubt.
I mean,
Graham Norton has nothing on you.
true, true. I mean, he's from Cork at least, whereas Terry was from Dublin or somewhere, was he? I actually don't know. Maybe Terry was from Limerick. Something's telling me Limerick. Uh, Terry Wogan was surprisingly before my time, so I don't really remember much about him. Um, but
You
yeah,
missed out.
missing out. Yeah. To be fair, everyone's always referred to me as the Terry Wogan of Blood Bowl. So whether that's a good or a bad thing, we'll
Oh,
see.
that's definitely a good thing. You should take that moniker, sir. Like that should just
Okay.
go on your shirt as a patch on your left arm.
Just
Terry
change my
Wogan of
NAF
Blood Bowl.
name.
Yeah,
Screw Ketovix. Terry Wogan of Blood Bowl. Here we go. Just be like McNaughton changing his name all the time. Cool. Well, I don't know. Do we have to? Do you want to just draw the first round and we can have a look at it? So obviously
oh,
we're
straight
doing.
in there, like just like you have at it today.
Well, I mean, we could sit here talking about it, but I feel like people want to know who they're playing, and it'll actually just give us something to talk about.
That
So
is
we're
true.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the Home Nations Bowl first, and then I'll probably split it up into like just two different videos for the YouTubes, just so that people who don't care about one can just watch one, and don't care about the other can watch the other. But of course, everyone cares about both.
Indeed, like the hype is real. I have to say, like my engagements and interactions with coaches over this last couple of weeks. It feels like the hype is building. So, yeah, cheers for doing this. I think this kind of adds to the melee. Obviously, before I do the draw and sort of appropriate drum rolls, please. Just a caveat that this round may well be redrawn, depending on what obviously happens on Saturday morning. The Tartan Trailblazers are likely to be out of their tree on cheap cocktails by about 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon down the Student Union. So they might not turn up and we might have to redraw. And I've just actually done a replacement coach tonight. So
Oh,
it's obviously it can be, and that was on the open. I think the bowl will probably be pretty steady because obviously you've got the team from Poland and Italy coming across, and obviously the lads from Ireland have got their plane tickets booked and so forth. So I
yeah.
think the bowl will be fairly steady. It's obviously the open where there'll be a bit of fluid movement. I think I'm
Yeah.
being told by Tony just to get on with it. Who am I to diss my teammate? So shall we draw the bowl then? But just
Yeah.
bear in mind we might redraw this. I am open to bribes. Is all I'm
Yeah.
saying. So,
Well, it's like
uh,
something I was saying, earlier on. It's like it doesn't really matter who you get in terms of the bowl, right? Because,
yeah,
well,
because you're playing everybody,
you have
right?
to play everyone anyway. So, I suppose the first round in particular, yeah, there could be some persuasion, some bribes. Like, oh no, I don't want to have to play Davo.
I was
First
asking him,
round
and he
rule.
was saying he doesn't want dwarves or vamps. He said, apart from that, he doesn't mind.
Yeah.
But he's playing some Chaos Chosen, which I think's out of left field, isn't it? Really.
Listen, that's his own problem. He doesn't want to play anyone with Chaos Chosen.
Indeed, certainly not an Irishman with Chaos Renegades. It's just a shame
Yeah.
there isn't an Irishman with Chaos Renegades in the bowl. So uh, sad times.
Lucky
Anyway,
for
let's do
Davo.
this. Yeah, indeed. Okay, I'm gonna hit the button.
Okay.
I feel quite. Thumbs are quite sweaty about this. So,
Ooh.
a call. 'Cause, you
Oh.
don't want to fuck it up. And we have the first round.
Oh. No. Oh, Scotland. Okay. So we have Poland. Naturally, I'm looking at who we're playing first.
Yeah, indeed. But
So Poland versus England, Ireland versus Scotland, and Wales versus Italy. Okay. That's
initial
pretty
reactions from
juicy.
you. What do you think
Um,
from Ireland's point of view?
I think I'd have rather Scotland round two, but round one is fine.
Yeah, well,
Round one,
you might
yeah. I
you caught us
honestly
cold at the
would
end last year, so we've got revenge to be
exactly.
had.
Yeah, I honestly would have preferred England round one, I think. And then whatever happens, happens, and then we can just ride the wave after that. But
Playing
let's
hard
get
with no
into
lube.
yeah, let's get
Oh,
into it.
Poland, yes, indeed.
So Poland, England. Okay, don't know. Maybe we need to actually zoom in a tad more here for the stream. Just taking a look there.
Oh, that's
I think
nicer. Yeah.
I think that should be okay now. People can kind of see it much more fully. So yeah, Mizek on Korn versus Torque's Vampires. I mean, nice easy win for Torque. Although I say that, I actually jokingly say that Korn are actually a terrible matchup for Vampires, because they can just completely remove the vamps, can't they?
Yeah, they
Like
can go through them like a hot knife through butter, can't they?
yeah,
In that sense.
like
Uh,
as vamps, you just don't want to get based up and you don't want to take hits, and that's exactly what the Corn will do. Like whether Corn want to or not, they will just be in your face. So that actually might not be as dead certain as I was making out. Um,
yeah, and just looking at Miziek's record on NAF, he is a relatively new coach with 20 NAF tournaments played, 16 in 2020. But interestingly, he is a Corn main who has only played Corn
okay,
104 matches. So I imagine this will be completely comfortable for him in terms of piloting the Corn. So yeah, happy days for Mizik, I guess. Although I imagine he's looking at Torquemada and thinking, "Oh crikey, Torquemada with Vamps." Because let's be honest, like if I was to say, is there anybody in the first round that you wouldn't want to play as a coach? Like if I was playing, it would be Torquemada on Vamps. Like I'll just
yeah,
throw that out there.
I
Like
think
he's
so.
the guy I wouldn't want to play in all of the bowl in the first round.
That's some statement, Jock. But yes, Torque's definitely up there. And then we're looking at Bialy versus Tulian. So Knobs versus Necro, a battle of the stand firm and fend versus the stand firm and foul appearance sidesteps. Um, that'll be a
They could
tough
grind
one.
them. Yeah, they could grind themselves to a halt really there.
Yeah,
I think the thing to bear in mind is Poland's not fielding their sort of first eight for the bowl, and Bialy, I suspect, is one of the sort of guys that is building up their experience and repertoire. Played 188 games, but win rates not top class, shall we say? Um, Actually, yeah, yeah. So I would fancy Thulian on this. Obviously, he's been on the hottest of hot streaks this season. So I think I would chalk
yeah.
that as a win.
Tulian is shit hot at the moment, as they say. And then Ray Hell's Vampires versus Purple Goose Humans. That'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tricky one. I mean, again, looking at Ray Howe, just a bit of background. Underworld main, but has got just under 40 games on Vamps in and played in 172 NAF games, 63% win rate. So, I think he's probably one of their starting lineup. Vamps could do a number against the humans, but then obviously they're in the hands of the famous Mount Goo. So,
Hmm.
tough one to call that, I think.
It is tough. Yeah, definitely. I think both coaches will have to play well in order to win that one. Um, yeah. And then Bua is Pro Elves versus Gegster's Dwarves. Which, it's a tough one, isn't it? How that
Yeah,
one's
that's
going
an
to
interesting
go.
one because like Valen for Scotland obviously is piloting dwarfs, but not in the home nations, but has been throughout the season. And Elven Union's gone one of two ways. He's either banged them out or they've just skipped around him type thing. So
Yeah.
that'll be an interesting match. I mean, obviously Gegster, current NAF champion with dwarfs.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you've just got to fancy him to just do the job, right? He's been around the block
Yeah, I think so.
more times than Dave will trying to find an Nando's. So. I would put Egster in the hot seat there.
Yeah. And then Oren Undead versus Nippy Longstairs Skaven, right? So that'll
Indeed.
be Yeah, it'll be a case of whether or not the undead can just completely bang out the Skaven, and if the Skaven can pull off the one turn, I'd imagine, but you never know. And then we have a Zon Mirror, Kfo versus Leon. That'll
So
be
Leon is
interesting.
the captain of Poland, so um, that's gonna be a pucker match, even although
Mm-hmm.
it might end in a draw.
Yeah, yeah. And Will King versus Miss Beltree, Chorse versus Wood Elves.
Without the tackle, you've got to be thinking Wyken is going to be crying in his tea
Well,
in
he
the
was
morning.
asking how much the bribe was in chat there 2 minutes ago.
Ah, evening, Wyken. From all the way from Poland. We look forward to having
Yeah.
you in Loughborough at the weekend. So yeah, that's a
And
tough round for them for sure.
definitely. And Stickman versus Joe Manji, Dwarves versus Undead. A boring game, really, but it'll be whoever chips stuff really in that one, isn't it?
I mean, I guess like what is Stickman fielding? Is it four guard, four mighty blow? I don't know if we
I
want
don't
to
even know if I can check,
have a
but
quick
yeah,
dive in that.
4 guard, 3 mighty, yeah,
Wrestle?
doable. Yeah, and a wrestle
Yeah.
runner, doable. Yeah, so
Joe handcuffs.
that's interesting. Do you want
Without
hot takes?
hot takes, I think England wins this one fairly comfortably. They are the informed team. I mean, we might get to it in a little while, but Stu Back has done a nice little infograph in terms of ELO based matchings with like their highest races and the races that they're playing at the at home nations. So I think England are a long way ahead on paper.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's Blood Bowl. Never say never. It's not over, as Eliot would say. But
don't say
yeah,
it's
I
over.
yeah, I think if I was a betting man, I don't think I'd get much odds on saying England will win.
No, the round or the tournament.
True.
um,
I think the tournament's slightly longer odds, right? Because it's yeah, 5 games, 6 countries, and I don't think you can count out the likes of Italy and Wales. I think the ones that will push England the hardest. I think.
yeah, I mean, looking at these matchups and these draws, you'd be thinking England would be quite comfortable for 5 or 6 wins here against Poland.
Yeah. Indeed.
Um,
Although that said, I'm doing you a misservice because Ireland obviously into the sword in Athens. Interesting to see if you could repeat that trick.
yeah, well, so Ireland's an interesting one. Like obviously, yeah, as you were saying there with Poland not feeling their best eight, like we've about 50% of our of our actual Euro Bowl team coming to the home nations, so there's quite a lot of substitution and a lot of stuff like that. So we're not feeling our best eight either, just because people have families and lives and can't dedicate themselves to 2 international tournaments. Um, but yeah, not too making excuses.
Just get them in now,
um,
right?
yeah, just get him in now before the 5 losses. Okay, easy. But yeah, I think England should be pretty comfortable there. But you never know. England have slipped up before.
Yeah, they're starting to get a bit of pedigree of that, haven't they? As of late.
Yeah, yeah. Just a team full of jards, isn't it? All right, here we
So
go.
our matchup: Scotland v Ireland, Ireland v
Yeah,
Scotland. Even.
just having it.
And this is
Just
one of the matchups for the I think it's what have I called it? The Celtic Quake or something like that. Oh no, that's what Wales Ireland. There's a matchup between Scotland and Ireland, I think, on this one.
oh, okay. Yeah,
You know, the
for
little
like
individual
a
match for a
yes.
tot of whiskey. Be an Irish whiskey because I'm going to keep with traditions. I forget what we had last year. I'm an Irish whiskey.
Nice. Was it probably a Jameson or Paddy or a
That was it.
Powers?
It was Jameson. It was Jameson, and K-Fog was getting quite excited when he kept getting these little flasks of Jameson handed over to him.
You couldn't even get a Catholic Irish whiskey, could you? You had to go for the Protestant one, Jock.
I didn't even know that. I've learned something today, so there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. James
Oh.
Jameson wasn't actually very nice to the Irish in the end.
Give him your whiskey, so he can't be that bad.
Yeah. Hold on. The alert box is going off. It it is currently going on, yeah, the half horse. I've just muted everything for the moment. Right, there we go. Oh, for God's sake. I'm just going to have to delete the alert box. There we go. Right, sorry. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate the follows, but it's really going to start derailing the stream. You did miss England versus Poland, Tulian. Yes, you can go back and watch the VOD. No pressure or anything like that. So, Shumway, Dark Elves versus you're gonna have to who's this?
Talon Bay, that is.
Talon Bay, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
On Necro.
I'm gonna back my man on this one. I think.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna back my man.
Yeah, well, you
Fuck
do
you,
that,
Jock.
and I think I think we should have a point on this. I think you're gonna lose. I mean, obviously, being a Dark Elf coach myself, I hate playing into Necro, and I think
Yeah.
Shumway is going to feel the same.
Yeah.
And Talon Bay, I actually played Talon Bay at Kent Team Championships last year, and for those that are watching, Kent Team Championship tickets are on sale now, so check them out at all good online stores managed by Stu Backer. And he got a draw against me and played really well. So I just think it doesn't suit the Dark Elves. And particularly, as we've commented many times before, like I think the Dark Elf roster is going to be impoverished, right? And I think Gary might be running, is he running the Mighty Blow tackle?
I think so, yeah. Scotland
Like
have the
whatever
Mighty Blow
witches are
tackle.
running about, yeah, it's like whatever witches are running about are gonna like be running scared, I think, from that Wraith. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm putting that down as a solid win for us.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with you, honestly. Like playing this Dark Elf roster versus a very nice Necro roster is going to be tough. But Shumway's a hell of a coach, so if there's a fella to do it on Team Ireland, it'll be him. And then we have Bozzy Boz, who I think is in chat actually, versus Camel Chops, Orcs versus Skaven. And again, it's one of these where the Orc roster in this rule set just isn't as best equipped to deal with rats as, say, in most other rule sets, right? They don't have as much guard, and you have a couple of like skillless or whatever, like defensiveless big guns. And it's like what we were saying for the other Skaven team about the undead and Team England versus Poland. It's like, yeah, so you just kind of have to bang them out and hope they can't one turn you. Because they're probably going to score on their drive. And actually, since most Orc teams aren't running a Mr. Throw, it kind of becomes a bit more perilous, doesn't it, for the Orcs versus Skaven? Because there's no like short
hands. It's a rough one, and equally, if you kind of look at the kind of the coach matchup, if you will, like Camel Chops is our Skaven specialist. He's been climbing the ranks on the kind of Danish Elo stuff, kind of indicating that he's going well. He beat Davo at the weekend and kind of lost out on a tiebreak for tournament win against Davo. So, he's in great form. Again, another one I would happily bet a pint with you on. I'm going to get pissed at this rate, if I'm honest.
That's good. You can just, go into the admin and give us a couple of pints easy. Then we have Golgoroth versus Sporan. Dwarves versus Undead again. We've had, this is 2 rounds with this exact matchup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost as if I've written the algorithm that way. Who knows?
And it's again, no, sorry, go on. Sorry, I was misreading.
No, carry on.
No, I just thought that the next matchup was our Undead versus your Dwarves, but it's not. So Owen's pretty good at the old Dwarves. When I asked him to come along to Team Ireland this year, I goes, do you want to play Amazons or do you want to play Dwarves? And I was like, please pick Amazons, please pick Amazons, please pick Amazons. And he said dwarves, so dice by me.
Yeah, I think that's maybe like pick of the round there in this matchup. Although actually Daunton and Loki will be a good one as
Yeah,
well. I think.
I think Danton and Loki is probably the best one here.
Yeah, but yeah, Gorgorov is obviously a top coach, and obviously Sporin, former NAF champion as well. You don't get many of them to the pound. He knows his way around undead, so that's a tricky one.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely. And then we have our giant killer, Lathandir versus Perdendas.
so my vice captain, although will be captain for home nations, up against your man, and I fancy Ant for this one. He's been banging form with humans this season, so I can't look past him. I think he'll do a job.
Nah,
Even
Lathandir's going to
although
make shit of him. Sorry. No. This one's I'm confident on now. Lathandir, absolute, 2-0 win, easy.
easy as you like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Not to be cocky or anything, but I think that's a solid win for Ireland there.
You are putting your reputation of being a solid predictor on the line here by being partisan. One feels.
Yeah.
There's too much of the Irish running through you. I think for you to be neutral here.
I mean, 100%. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna lose. So I'm gonna have to.
Look, just looking at Lathander, obviously new coach, but like smacking record with the undead. He's only lost one. That's pretty cool.
Well, he's only played like 2 tabletop or tournaments, and I think he's beaten like Davo and Kavo and like drew to someone else
Really?
like Purple Goo or someone. Yeah, he's pretty handy. He's taken like 2 years out of Blood Bowl. And,
Okay, yeah, I can see he's beat Davo. Drew with Day Day, who's a good player. Oh, he's at Eurobowl, was he? He was
yeah,
Shayakov as well.
yeah.
And here's an interesting one. He beat Sporin as well. So okay,
Yeah,
we've got a
like I
match
said,
there.
giant killer. He's our giant
Yeah,
killer, you know?
yeah. I think that could be the case, right?
So, like I was saying in the preview, don't write him off. Obviously, taking a couple of years out, he might be a bit rusty, which is why I didn't want, Scotland round 1. Scotland round 2 would have been much easier. Get him used to rolling dice again. And then we have Ketovix on his Amazons versus I Done Goofed and his Orcs, which is crazy.
Yeah. So you obviously knock around the tournament scene. You've probably played Chris.
I've only
What's your
played him
gut take?
once,
Oh
ever.
yeah, I've only played once. What was
And it
it?
was
What was
my
the result?
very first tournament.
So you
Um,
lost. Is that what you're saying?
did I lose or did I draw? I think I actually lost, yeah. I think it was Undead versus Necro, and I lost that one.
It really depends on what I Done Goof turns up in the morning, right? Because he turned up to
Yeah.
UKTC last year playing Tomb Kings with the most monster hangover, and I actually got him round 1, and it was just hysterical to watch him try and play in
Right.
that match.
So I'll take him
But
for a couple of points on Friday night. Gotcha.
yeah, I think that is absolutely a legit strategy. Get him
That'll sort
wrecked,
him out.
and I think he's going to be down early because like the Scots boys are planning to be at the Student Union Friday afternoon and getting on the jars. So
That's
you
good.
could you could
That sounds good to
could
me.
sort of pump him up and give him illegal drug substances, and he'd fail a drug test. And yeah, you should maybe do a job there. I mean, obviously your race as well, zones against orcs. I think you've got it covered there. So maybe a draw at best if Chris is on his game.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think you should probably be looking for the win there, right?
I don't enjoy Amazons versus Orcs. I mean, I don't enjoy playing Orcs at the best of times. Never mind when I'm not enjoying playing my own race. But yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it. It'll be grand. Um, Smoother Karma with his first Ireland cap versus VM Cat, who's first Scottish cap, right? I think.
It is, but I think it is VM Cat's first cap. But I think my man comes with over 20 years worth of games
Yeah.
behind him, so he's obviously a wily old coach. Chosen main as well,
Mm.
completely in his comfort zone. But equally, it's not going to be an easy matchup for him. So we'll see, I guess. Um, I think Val will be looking to impress. He's waited a long time to be involved in the Scotland setup. He was quite pleased with the change of system that we had this year, and was one of the first applications in. So I'm hoping he does well for the first time out in a shirt. Yeah,
Nice.
hopefully we'll get a win for him, but I wouldn't be surprised with a draw there either because
Yeah.
he's got a very sort of premium skills package of blocking guard type thing, but nothing sort of sexy with a chosen really.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, it'll be a case of, I think both, Mick can play Blood Bowl. He's beaten and held me to a draw a couple of times in some practice games. So he's been doing quite well actually. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see now how he gets on versus Val, like you say. And as we both picked, Danton versus Loki, probably the matchup of the round for the two of us. Our
Indeed.
star player, human coach, versus arguably one of your star players on Vampires.
Yeah, well, Loki, as I'm fond of saying, historically is our best coach at Eurobowl in terms of like results. Obviously,
Yeah.
typically a lizard main, but we had a chat and we decided that actually lizards might not be the way to go. He played Vamps at Scottish Team Championships, uh, did very well there, and helped the Exiles bring home a six. No, sorry, 5-0-0 win for the tournament, which was quite impressive. But I think he's probably on the wrong end of the stick on this one, I would say. Because I'm
Hmm.
guessing Donovan's probably running about with mighty low tackle.
Yes, yeah, he is, and he's made shit of me a couple of times with the mighty blow tackle in some practice games, and a couple of other people. So yeah, honestly, looking at a lot of these matchups and like who I want to be playing the vampires, and most of the time it's myself and Danton and Kaelon. I would say like they're the three coaches on Team Ireland. I would like, okay, right, you're playing the Vampires, or we're playing the Vampires, just because we have the experience of playing as them and against them compared to the rest of them.
With Kalon, he's got Elven Union as well, which obviously is quite nice. The Edge.
Yeah, yeah,
For
he had the Kaelon versus Sand there, as you were just moving on to.
mm,
Um, yeah, Kaelon spent all last year playing vampires, didn't he? And he's not going to
yeah.
Budapest this year, so he was taking something that looked really fun, and yeah, he's enjoying his pro elves. Um, so we seeing how he gets on versus Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Mike obviously is one of those wily old customers that has been around the game for a long time, coming out of retirement for Scotland after a bottle of red was shared in Athens between him and I, and I sort of was convincing slash pleading for him to put the kilt back on because obviously he's an impeccable coach that can play pretty much any race. Don't know if he still is, but at one point the number one Black Orc coach in the world.
Yeah,
Obviously won the Black Orc title at the World Cup in Alicante. So, and I've been really impressed watching him on fumble matches. He's got such a patient style in
he
terms of
has,
squeezing. So certainly
and
not how
he
I would play Blood Bowl, but like it's. I wish I could play like that sometimes in that sense.
yeah,
So.
exactly. And yeah, San is uploading his fumble vods onto his YouTube again. I've been stepping by and watching a couple of them. They're pretty good. I've been enjoying them. You
Indeed.
know,
So draw? Shall we just call it a draw and have a lie in?
yeah. Let's have a draw and.
Actually, I can't give you the draw because I think for me like this feels like win territory. Like I'd be like obviously I'm not playing, obviously
Hmm.
Valen's not playing, so we've not got our full strength as well, and I've got a couple other guys that are sort of floating in and around. But yeah, I would went into if you were to say to me coming into the bowl, what do you want? Like I definitely want revenge for the loss that we had last year. An inexplicable loss last year, round six. You must have got us round five. You got us tired. So I'm glad we got you round one because we got the jump on the barbars last year. The only team to beat the
Yeah.
barbarians. So I think we could be the fast starters of this tournament, and then we'll obviously dwindle. Uh, so yeah, I'm going for a Scotland win there, and I'm sure you're going
Yeah.
to tell me it's an Ireland win. So.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, look, Ireland, I think going into this tournament, looking at Scotland as probably our most likely round to get a win. So I have to say we're going to win here. Like the two rounds I fancy us most are probably Scotland and Poland. These matchups they're okay. There's one or two I'd rather swap out, honestly. But looking at this, I'm seeing three wins anyway, and then like anything else can go the other way. So
Yeah,
we'll,
indeed.
we'll see how it
It's a
goes.
curious one for sure. I
Yeah.
guess loser buys the pint.
I think there'll just be pints being drunk throughout the entirety of these games.
Indeed, indeed. And talking about drinking pints through these games, for those that are attending, I can confirm that we will have table service this year. So you
Oh,
just
brilliant.
scan that QR code, and I will get you shit faced without leaving the table. So, and
Brilliant.
then when you get up at the end of the match, you'll just fall over. Is kind of the plan, right?
Yeah. Incredible. Um, oh, wow. So we're moving on to Wales versus Italy. And we have a chosen mirror. That's incredible.
Oh, that's interesting because usually Liam, the Italy captain, plays chosen, but obviously he's playing Chaos Dwarfs this year. So I'm not familiar with Silvio, but if he's in the Italy squad, he'll be decent, right?
You'd think so, yeah. Right? No,
Decent,
definitely.
decent.
Yeah. They've got some serious depth, right? So it'll be
Talk
interesting.
saying I think both of them lose.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
from
mean,
forever.
both of them are playing Blood Bowl, so we all lose, don't we?
Well, you say all of us are playing Blood Bowl. I am not playing Blood
Oh,
Bowl
that's
this
true.
weekend,
You
so
have to
I am
deal
the
with
winner.
you have to deal with like 270 Blood Bowlers though, so you don't exactly win either.
Oh, that's true, and I'm probably on toilet duty to replace loo rolls from
Yeah.
grim visits in the morning. So yeah, maybe I should have played Blood Bowl. Never mind. Snakes all
um,
around.
Hank wants to have a look at the two Chaos builds. They was gone for the double mighty blow stack, couple of guard or one, yeah, a couple of guard and two wrestle, some block, and it's basically the same build, actually, except
But points off for the Italian ordering. Oh, he's got a tackle,
he's
which is
got,
skill.
yeah, but he still has an extra guard, so he's basically down a wrestle versus Devo, or down two
Yeah.
wrestles versus Devo, but does have one extra guard, so that's kind of good actually.
I
So
mean,
we'll
I don't know his Italian counterpart, but you'd be hard pressed to bet against the informed tournament winner of the season in the UK, right? Able for the win there, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. The tackle's wild. I don't know if you saw. I was having a discussion. Well, I wasn't having a discussion. I was being called out in the Scottish Discord last
Oh,
night
are you?
following your advertisement, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, I can't wait to come up and tell Keith how good my Amazon line woman with tackle was." Or is. There he is, there's Badgie. And I just replied, it's a terrible decision. Terrible skill choice. Just because it works once doesn't make it good.
Indeed. Well, next one, I'm gonna be sharp and say Gav for the win. I think, and
Ooh, high
Barbosa's a
elves
good.
versus dark elves. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Barbosa's a good coach, but I mean, I just fancy the high elves over that. I mean, I'm playing high elves in Budapest. So
Oh, are
yeah,
you?
I'm gonna.
Hashtag
Yeah,
locked in.
yeah. Hashtag maybe slan if I get pissed and sort of like write the wrong roster in. But yeah, probably high elves is
Okay.
what I'd say.
I love the look of high elves in this rule set. Yeah.
Yes, I just think the one turn capability that Gav has, and obviously he's a specialist with them. Um, he's hard to look past. And I actually played Gav in Athens last year, and he was my toughest match in the 6 rounds
Hmm.
basically. So yeah, a lot of respect for him. Although that said, I'm just looking at Barbosa's record here. Looks like a Dark Elf main, 68%, 127 games, 220 elo. So obviously, walk in the park, really, Kazansky.
Yeah.
So
Because Elo makes all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. Like I swear by it. Like that's exactly like it's completely accurate.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I
People
tried my
saying more
best.
slan, too little slan, but I hate to say it, Core, you have let the side down. No frog from you. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And you chose Ons. Terrible.
absolutely disgusting. Come,
Joseph up next. Sorry.
yeah, Necro versus dwarves.
What? Anyone?
Hmm. I think it's a matchup that the Necro are poised in a better position this time around compared to most other years because the dwarves are limited at 4 guard. But the counterpoint to that is they now have 3 mighty blow. But I think the
Indeed.
Necro should be slightly favored here. You know, they have the
Although
strength, they have the movement, they have the claw.
the interesting dynamic there is Joseph, whilst is a very good coach, he's obviously new to the scene, and this will be his first time in the Wales jersey. The nerves kick in. You know, does that make a difference? I
Hmm.
mean, I think back to me turning up to Athens. I was nervous putting on the Scotland jersey, so you never know. Um,
But Joseph has one of these tour play stars, and Matteo doesn't. So I think that's what we can draw a lot of conclusions from that. Actually,
Screw Elo. It's all about tour play stars.
I think
Uh,
so.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
K-Fog, I'm just going to say, like, you are a team player and you play what the captain tells you. If you had a Scottish granny, I would tell you to play Slan. So, just put the kilt on, cross Hadrian's Wall. We'll say no more about England, and we'll have you playing Slan.
I mean, listen, Kfo had his chance. He was captain, and he didn't even take Slan. So I don't think Kfo actually likes Slan. I'm gonna say
So we'll find out because I'm
it.
playing with I'm playing. Cor's my partner at Pier Bowl in Copenhagen at Hargram's tournament, and I've given him free reign. I've said to him, "You can have the Slan. I will bow down to the Frog Master." So we'll see how much of a frogman he is.
Fantastic. Orkster, not on the orcs, on the vampires actually.
Seems like a misnamed coach by the sounds of it.
Yeah, versus Menzongna and their Necro. Vamps versus Necro actually. Ooh. Have how would you feel about playing against Necro as Vamps?
Depends on the roster. Has he gone like all 8 positionals with guard and stuff like that? It could be quite oppressive.
He's gone for the block guard fleshy, but so still got 4 guard.
Yes, but yeah, Liam was talking about that build. He came across this at Tillian
Yeah.
this year. I do, in some ways, I do love like the Italian take on the meta. Like it was the same last year when I was looking at their builds. They always seem to come up with something completely different that I've not seen type thing. So I do like the way that they come from left field.
Mm-hmm. I
Saying
mean, the sure hands
Menzong
is
now,
fantastic.
yeah, Torque played Menzogna with this exact roster. Is he good or Torquemada good? Like, is he not quite as good? Did you win, Torque? Like,
Wow. Is he good or is he Torquemada good? Oh, wow, Jock.
I'm just going to confess now, I am a complete fanboy for Torque, so there you are.
You see, this is why people, jokingly say, "Am I inclusive and welcoming?" Like, I used to be so, high regarded in the community, and then I started doing all these roster reviews, and now everyone thinks I'm Jimmy Fantastic.
Maybe it's the guest that you bring on. Maybe I'm bringing down your stream, and people are confused with the sort of the
Oh,
dulcet
maybe.
Scottish tones. Although I suppose you'd be hard pressed to mix us up in a room, I guess.
You would, in fairness, yeah. Um, I mean, you've got a solid 20, 25 years on me, Jock. I think.
Are you that young? Jesus Christ!
Well, I don't know. It depends how old you are.
Well, maybe that's saying something about how you view my age. Yes, I've got grey hair.
Yeah.
That does not make me automatically over 50. I'm
Okay.
not purple chest. So,
Okay. Okay. Okay, 15 years at least.
Yeah, at least.
Surely you're at least 43.
Oh yeah, more than that.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
than that. Let's not talk about that.
It might be 50 or it might be 20 years, Jock.
What do we think then? I'm gonna go with the Necro there. I mean, obviously, Vamps almost feel like auto wins, like complete cheat mode.
Hmm.
Orc, you cheater. Yeah, I think Necro. A turn on a dime, absolute fanboy. 1 minute, next minute, just slander. Yeah, I think Italy for that tie. I'm gonna go Italy there.
Okay. Yeah. And then we have an elf mirror. Pro elves versus wood elves. Um. Yeah. Having played Serafino, I think I'm gonna have to back him to win this one.
Yeah, it's like that's not even like a brave call, is it? Like Serafino's like top notch. So yeah, easy agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's
It's
nothing.
actually this is a tasty, spicy round one, isn't it?
It is, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're all spicy round ones, and they'll all be spicy round twos, threes, and fours and fives. There's going to be very little like, dead rubber games. I think in a lot of these, um, like I'd be surprised if there was more than 1 or 2 3-0s. I think they'll all be pretty tight, like 1-0, 2-2s, 1-0, 1-1, 2-2s. It'll be
Yeah,
pretty close.
it's gonna be a close match. And then
I,
Dementor has got a sexy match with the captain,
ooh,
not Thulian, to be clear,
yeah.
but Liam. Tackle his chores because I think he's gone double guard bulls, isn't he? That lad.
Has he gone double guard bulls or is he the frenzy bulls? Yeah, double guard bulls. Ooh, 3 mighty blow though. Yeah, I don't want to play this as Zons. I mean, yeah, I don't want to play it as Zons. I still reckon they'll at least draw, but I don't want to sit there and play it. um, but yeah, I think it's okay.
Faco. Faco is a top coach. I met him in Malta, and he does some good stuff. Was he in Germany? I don't think he was. But he travels around Europe playing games, and he does pretty well.
Hmm.
So,
He's up against
guessing John
Renegades
McCart.
though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that'll be Bert Mac if I'm right.
Yeah,
Thinking.
that's him.
Yeah, that's got to be Faco all day long.
I don't know. I know a thing or two about Renegades and how they operate, Jock, actually. And let me tell you, if they start firing, there's not going to be much Skaven left.
That's all right. You can still one turn with 3 rats.
Yeah, you can, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't actually need that many rats to win. But, dice can go against you. And then Rick Reckless versus Dear Old. Undead versus
Whoa, that's a
Zombies.
heck of a match.
Yeah.
Both cracking coaches. Although, like, Blood Bowl Jesus, it'd be hard pressed to, like, almost feels like blasphemy, right? To say Rick's going to lose a draw.
I don't think anyone can just come out and say Rick's going to lose.
No,
He's got
'cause,
sixes up his sleeve.
Well, indeed, and I actually witnessed a no reroll Imperial Nobility 1 turn from the hands of Rick last year at Home Nations. It was a sight to behold. So yeah,
It was, unfortunately. I was sitting right beside it.
indeed,
Because it was
your
against
man,
Team
wasn't it?
Ireland. Yeah. Our poor Dark Elf coach still hasn't, that's the real reason why he's not playing in Eurobowl this year.
Yeah, he's got too much power. So what do we think the tie of the round is here?
Sorry, 2 seconds. Apparently, they actually can't see this game. There we go. Sorry. Lovely. The tide around here, let's see.
I think it's maybe Gav and Barbosa or Rick and Dirald.
Yeah,
I would say.
I mean, I'd be keen to say Dementor versus Liam, actually, but just because I know they're two very good coaches. But yeah, I think Gav and Barbosa seems pretty good. Deerald won UKTC last year, Demi,
Yeah,
with
I played it.
Liam.
I played against Liam on board one in the final round, and Dirald. Get who he beat on my side. Either Sporin or Erdley,
Yeah.
which obviously neither are slouches. So,
No.
um, Dirald's solid.
I got a draw against Deerald at UKTC last year.
In fact, thinking about it, I've played Dirald because that's Paolo, isn't it? He's a good coach. Yeah, that's quite nice. That's quite a nice matchup. And Zon's is his comfort zone. So he was
Yeah.
playing Zon's last year at TDC when I played against him. So he's in his wheelhouse. Yeah, that'll be a
Yeah,
tough one for Rick.
I think so. I think it'll be a tough round for Wales, actually. So
Yeah, I think if Wales had sort of ambitions of the title, they might have wanted an easier round one to get started, right?
yeah, I think so. I think they'd have wanted Scotland or Poland round one Wales in order to get themselves
Yeah,
off
kind
the
of.
board.
Yeah, get a warm up type thing.
Yeah,
We'll see if they come in cold and do the job against Italy. I mean, that's a nice thing about home nations, obviously. In the same way at Eurobowl, it's kind of like there isn't really a sort of obvious winner straight from the gate. I mean, obviously England are favourites, but any one of the guys could get it done. The countries can get it done, so that's quite cool.
yeah, I think it's cool. Right. Do we? So what? We have England winning their game against Poland. Ireland versus Scotland are drawing. And
Technically,
yeah, no, they're drawing, Jock. We're having a draw. And listen, I can say we're going to win if you want, but let's split the difference. We'll go draw. And I actually don't know if we've decided who's winning Wales versus Italy, have we? Like
no. I
Davo,
mean,
it's hard to
yeah,
say.
it's hard.
Dave was going to bang him out, right? Let's be real.
Yeah,
Dave was
yeah,
got his loaded dice, and he's going to win. You reckon Gav's going to win this one?
yeah. It'll be a close one. I think Gav will edge it if he's one turns up to scratch.
Yeah, and we reckon the Neck are going to win. So we have 3-0 here for Wales already.
Is that bold straight out the gate? Maybe
I think
not.
I think that's
I think yeah, I think Wales are strong with this lineup.
yeah. Well, I suppose with the caveat, right? This could easily be a draw.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a winner, you'd probably pick Gav to win this one. This again could easily be a draw. You're leaning Italy for the Necro Vamps. Italy for the Wood Elves thing. So I mean, we're on 3-2. Dementor versus Chorfs, or Dementor versus Liam. Yeah, probably a draw. You want the Rats to win there, so then we have 3-1-3. So then it could be Rick versus Deerall to decide it.
And I reckon that could be a draw. So draw all round.
That would be interesting. Yeah. So yeah. So at the moment we're saying like what England wins and then 2 draws. Oh, that's okay. Interesting.
A bit spicy. Misspelled tree casting aspersions on these imperious commentators saying that we've got together to rig this. Like I pressed the button live. Like there was no like do-overs.
Yeah. I mean, you could have refreshed it a couple of times. But in fairness, having Ireland versus Scotland round one has made this draw much more interesting because we've had some crack to talk about.
Indeed.
Lovely. Do we need to say anything else about the bowl before we move on to the Open?
Not particularly, unless we want to have a quick look at the form guide. If you've got that to hand, I don't know if that's worth anything.
I can open it up, sure.
So the viewers see home Stewbacker's hard work.
Yep. What page is that on?
I think it was the seeding. Was.
Who loves a good spreadsheet? Because that's now what we're That's not what the
We're
stream
we're, we're
is.
entering full geekdom with spreadsheets on stream.
Yeah, and the problem is this is going to upset my. Okay, there we go. Now this is content. Exactly. Here we go. Sorry, guys.
Not
Just had
not
to
a
switch.
Blood Bowl pitch in sight.
Yeah. I mean, you see, there's a reason why I didn't want to look at this, right? You know, I don't like seeing stuff like this. Highest NAF rank, race being used. Who cares? Just go there and roll some dice. Everyone's gonna have some fun.
It either works or it doesn't. We all know that. That's the rule.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I say, it's not
Look,
quite in sight. I don't think that table. From
is it
watching.
not?
Oh no, it is. I just had to lift up the stream a little bit. It's me that's the Wally, not you. Yeah, obviously England far
There we
out in front with the highest rank, but Italy's not far behind. And then actually, if you look at the races chosen, it narrows quite tightly, in the sense that Italy's almost kind of hang on their best races, whereas England's maybe in a shoe shuffle, up in a fair bit of yellow.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just making it more viewer friendly. But yeah. It is a bit like looking at work, isn't it? Okay, guys, we need to sort all this and make some PowerPoints.
Yeah, indeed. We need some graphs. That's what we need. We are missing the graphs in that sense. But okay, we probably done the bowl to death. Predictions then, like who's going to win this thing?
Who's gonna win overall?
Yeah, who's got the mustard?
It is. I mean, it's really hard to look past England, unfortunately, isn't it?
I'm going to say Italy because I can't say England.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in a similar boat, but like it's really really hard not to say England. I think they should win it, based on everything. I think England should win it. Whether or not they turn up on the day and actually manage to pull out the results, then who knows. Um,
And putting you on the line, and I'll do the same for myself, I guess. Where's Ireland coming in all this? But what looks like good to you coming out of the back of this? Because obviously, obviously there's pride and sort of and boasting rights on the line, but ultimately this is a tester for the real deal. What makes you happy coming off the back of this weekend, other than a lot of Guinness and a curry?
Well, I mean, who's going to be drinking Guinness in a hot room in July? Absolutely not me. I mean, I think a fantastic weekend would see Ireland come like fourth, right? That would be just like top quality weekend from Ireland. A good weekend, I would say fifth, and like honestly, wooden spoon with a couple of key victories across some of the boards. I'd be happy enough with, honestly. Like being quite realistic. Where we're going to get results are probably Scotland and probably Poland. So I mean, like if we can get a win, get a draw against those, then that might keep us off the wooden spoon territory again. But you have to look at like England and Italy and probably even Wales. Like they're probably going to get a result over us. So yeah, I think fourth or fifth would be a very good weekend, but I can't can't deny that we're definitely favourites to come last, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair summary in terms of where you want to see Ireland be in terms of like good performance and where the pecking order is at this point in time. I would say. It's only 4 out of 6. I wish my missus had your expectations. I mean, I think for Scotland, it's slightly different in some ways because actually, like, I've got guys purposely in the bowl out of my 12. I want to put them into the crucible and test them. Some of these guys are playing for a seat in the bowl in Hungary because obviously my eight's not finalised, so there's definitely scope for people to kind of play their way into the match. And just because my guys are in the bowl squad and not the open squad, isn't a kind of sense of like they're locked in that sense. So I think a great performance for us would be to come third above Wales. We lost to Wales last year, and we drew with them at Euro Bowl. It feels like can we progress? Although granted, we are missing some key coaches. Someone like McNaughton, who was in the lineup in Athens, myself, Alan. So and Wales have beefed themselves up with a Rick Reckless and an Andy Dable, which they didn't have at Home Nations last year. Although Andy was having a miserable time in Athens at the bottom table when he played against us, so you never can tell. So yeah, third for me would be like an absolute result, but kind of like similar to you. I think fourth would be where I would want to peg us in terms of where we should be coming. I'd want to see us beat you guys, and with a non-full strength Poland team, like we should be doing a number there as well. I would hope. Although that said, I don't know the Polish guys in terms of strength, so I could be talking right out of school. They could come and school us quite hard. I know that Wales will be a hard one to get going. He did. K-Fog. Andy did play at Home Nations, but he was playing for Barbarians last year, and obviously he's on the Welsh side, so he kind of strengthens the Welsh side. As did Rick, obviously, was on the Barbarian squad.
There's like three former Barbarians playing in the Home Nations this year.
Because San was a Barbarian, so San as a Barbarian's in the Scotland team. So 3 of the 8 Barbarians that won the tournament are in their respective home nations. So they add a bit of weight, don't they, to the squads? And I think having Andy and Rick on any squad is a good start, right? For starter for 10.
Absolutely.
So third, if we've run absolutely pucker. Fourth would be good, and definitely not the spoon. I'd see that I'd see that as a failure on our part. If we end up coming behind you boys, with the greatest respect and love in the world.
Of course. I mean, we'll find out pretty easily, won't we? Saturday morning, who's going to be favourites for the spoon?
Indeed. I was going to say, there's a lot of weight on that tie, isn't there? Really,
there is massive. Yeah.
You could be last by Saturday morning.
And you might never look up again or look down again. Yeah. And I think on that note, we'll leave the Home Nations Bowl there, and we'll move swiftly on to the Home Nations Open.